Welcome to a journey of transformation. Every week, we explore new horizons, pushing boundaries and embracing what's next. This isn't just about technology, it's about evolving ourselves. Think of it as your weekly reset, a chance to upgrade your mindset, your skills, and your potential. We're here to help you rethink how you approach challenges, how you innovate, and ultimately, how you succeed. From powerful insights to practical strategies and game-changing knowledge, we tap into everything you need. It's about staying ahead, not just in a digital world, but in life itself, equipping you for every new beginning. Because in this fast-paced era, standing still is simply not an option. Growth is continuous. You either choose to evolve, to adapt, and to learn, or you risk being left behind. Embrace the change. This isn't just an update. It's a profound rebirth, a chance to redefine your future, to step into your power, and to truly thrive. It's about unlocking your next level. Join us on this exciting path. Embrace your new beginning. Your journey starts now.
Welcome to tonight's episode of the Final Boss Podcast. It's Tech Tuesdays, baby. It is Tech Tuesday. Tonight I'm doing solo, man. Tonight I'm going solo. The sensei isn't with me tonight. He's out on business. He's out on travel. So it's just me tonight. And tonight I got a great show for you, as you already know. Look, as you already know, first, let's give a great shout out to the sensei, man, for all that he does, right? Let's give a great shout out for him. Sensei, thank you, sir. Thank you for being a part of Tech Tuesday since the beginning. I really appreciate you, sir. Look, tonight, man, we're going to continue our conversation from last week. Last week's conversation, we were talking about AI versus AI. Tonight, we're going to do a part 2 of that, right? It's going to be a part 2 of that. But before we get into the episode, man, listen, I need you, everyone, right now, right? I see you guys. You're here. Like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe as you're coming in. Look, like, share, and subscribe, right? And look, I got some great information to tell you at the end of the show that you guys are really going to be ecstatic about, man. Some upcoming things that is going on with the Final Boss and the Final Boss Podcast, Final Boss Community, Final Boss Nation, Final Boss Family. Did I forget anybody? The Sovereign, the Smarts, the Warriors, the Final Bosses, the Motivators. Who else? I think that's it, right? I said community, nation, right? Family, community. Yeah, I got everybody. So, the episode tonight, episode number 228, man. 228. We're past the quarter mark. And I can't wait until we get to season 5, man. Season 5, the harvest right now. If you've been following us, man, you already know that this is the rebirth. Next season is the harvest, right? Next season, the harvest. Episode number 300 will bring on that harvest, man, and we're going to bring it in like the mighty Führer. Right? So look, lock in time, man. It's lock in time, man. You know, this is your first Tech Tuesday. It's not a doctoral show. But what it is it's about tech, right? And without the sensei, it's just me, right? Solo with the tech. So to each and every last single one of you, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Thank you for joining us, no matter where you're watching from. If you're watching from Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitch, Kick, YouTube, Instagram, StreamYard, and Spotify for your listening pleasures. Thank you for joining us, man. Thank you for joining us. We're expanding on our locations and where you will be able to find us, and we're working on that as we always do, right? The new merch site, I know I've been talking about it for a while, but because of complications with the lawsuit I had with a $4.3 billion company, I've decided to bow out from that, and a new logo will be coming soon in the next harvest season, right? Which is perfect, right? Which is perfect. So no merch this season. I had to revamp the logo, right? We lost the legal battle, Well, we didn't lose, but I'm bowing out. So they got $4.3 billion. I don't currently. So, so it's okay. We revamped it. They got a new product going up the chain to the Patent and Trademark Office, and you guys are going to be excited about it because I'm excited about it. Right? It engulfs everything that we're doing at a level of at a higher level. Let's just say that, right? Let's just say that. So before we get into tonight's show, look, go ahead and drop your computer emojis in the chat right now, man. If you're in the chat, drop your computer emojis right now, right? Because it's Tech Tuesdays, man, and this is what we do. So look, I'm here. We are here, and it is go time, right? And if you haven't gotten go time, go pick up go time, man. Go pick up go time. All aboard the fire the train. Amazon bestseller, baby. Amazon bestseller, man. Go pick it up if you hadn't got it. Look, Go Time 2, it's on its way. Go Time 2, it's on its way, right? Man, super excited about that. Super excited about that. The second book in the series of Go Time. Go pick that up when it drops. It's going to be dropping in July, right? So we in full alignment, man. We are in full alignment. So let me tell you something. Right? So on April 22nd, just a few days ago, approximately 6 days ago, right? I had to look at the calendar. 6 days ago, 5 tech giants stepped into the same ring on the same afternoon. OpenAI dropped Workspace Agents. Google rebranded Vertex AI, and they rebranded it to Gemini Enterprise Agent Platform, right? So for Salesforce expanded with Google Cloud. Microsoft kept stacking Agent 365. Anthropic kept feeding Claude Cowork into the enterprise, right? And one day, 5 launches. One day, 5 launches. Doesn't that sound interesting, right? Same target. The same target as always. I tried to tell you guys the other day on They All Need You, right? You are the target. Anytime something is free, you are the product, man. Anytime something is free, you are the product, right? So they target you, right? And they were not selling software. They're selling you a digital employee that logs into your CRM, right? Reads your inbox, signs your contracts, and never asks for a raise. And it works 24/7. The question is not whether agents are coming. The question is who owns the agent that owns your workflow, right? That owns your workflow. So tonight is the pressure test. Episode number 228. So look, sit with that for a minute. Right? Let's do a moment of silence for the capabilities that that we no longer have to be troubled with because AI is taking over, right? Let's sit with that for a minute. It's a moment of silence. I'm gonna wave the green flag while we do that, right? Quick moment of silence. All right, let's go, right? Listen, family, community, nation, if this is your first time here, you're at the right place. This is the Final Boss Podcast. I am the one and only the Final Boss, right? I'm the architect of insight, and we coming live to you at 9 p.m. on a Tech Tuesday solo, right? Eastern time, right? The sensei is out on travel. He's out on business, and I'm locked in, right? And he's locked in somewhere else, right? So this is a solo run. One mic, one operator, pure pressure test, right? Pen and paper ready. I see you. Thank you. Right? And to my smarts, the critical thinkers who refuse the easy answer. To my final bosses, the empire builders running two operators, and they're running real operations, right? And to my motivators, the coaches, the leaders who are shaping rooms, and to my warriors, right? The battle tested who already know nothing comes free. Tonight, we're going to strip the marketing off the enterprise, right? The AI agent platforms and find out who is actually building the sovereignty, right? Who's building it? And who's building themselves a moat with your data inside of it, right? The rebirth is the lens, not the rebirth of the agent. The rebirth of the operator who stops being the product and starts being the principal. Let's get into it, right? But before we get into it, man, as always, got to get into the brass tacks. And for those of you who are just now joining us who don't know what the brass tacks is, man, the brass tacks is the quote that leads us into tonight's conversation, right? And tonight's brass tacks is this, and it comes from yours truly. And you can find this brass tacks at Go Time, all aboard the Fired Up train, right? It's one of my own quotes, right? So here's the brass tacks. If the agents work for the platforms that built it, the agent does not work for you, right? It doesn't work for you. Think about that, right? Think about that. That was my code hook, right? That was the brass tacks. And I just dropped it. Now it's time to frame the night, right? It's time to frame it. Listen, 5 platforms on the table. 5, right? Salesforce, Agentforce 360, Microsoft Copilot Studio with Agent 365, OpenAI Frontier and Workspace Agents, Google Gemini Enterprise Agent Platform, and of course, Anthropic Claude Cowork, right? Every one of them is pitching the same promise. Autonomous agents that do the work while you sleep. Every one of them has a different price tag, a different data spine, right? And a different blast radius when something breaks, right? The pressure test does not care about the marketing, right? Or the marketing deck. The pressure test asks 4 questions every single time, every platform, right? Number 1, where does your data live after the agent touches it? Number 2, who owns the model making the decision? And number 3, right? What happens when the agent gets hijacked, right? And then number 4, what does it actually cost when the bill matures, right? We're about to go in. Stay with me. Don't go nowhere. Class is in session. Pen, paper, ready, notepads ready, phones out, taking diligent notes, right? That's what we're about on Tech Tuesdays, man. So, smarts, motivators, warriors, final bosses, right? Listen, you're the ones reading the fine print while everybody else clicks accept all, right? That's what my smarts do. Tonight, you get the architecture under the hype. And final bosses, I didn't leave you out, right? You're signing the procurement contract. By the end of 2026, projects are up 40%. Enterprise applications will integrate task optimization and AI agents, right? 40%. That's not a future memo. That is Q3 road mapping, right? And to my motivators, you thought I forgot about you? I didn't forget about you guys, right? Your teams are already using these tools, whether you authorize it or not. Shadow AI is the new shadow IT. Your job tonight is to walk away with governance frame, right? And to my warriors, lastly, my warriors, right? You already smell the trap. Free tier today, dependency tomorrow, ransom note next quarter, right? We named the trap by name tonight, right? That's what we do. The stakes, right? The stakes are here. Stanford's, I'm sorry. That Stanford. Hello, Stanford. Stanford in the building, right? Stanford's AI index showed publicly reported AI security indictments and incidents. Well, the indictments are coming, but the incidents jumped 56.4% from 2023 to 2024, right? The trend accelerated since and is still accelerating. We are deploying autonomous agents into hostile terrain. Listen, I hate that. Sometimes, man, my brain just moves too fast, right? Hostile terrain, right? With seatbelts that have not been tested, right? And this is not fear mongering. This is the field reconnaissance, right? So I need you guys, you're going to go on a recon mission, right? So listen, what changed? What changed happened just 6 days ago on April 22nd. Before April 22nd, AI agents were a product feature. After April 22nd, AI agents became a platform that was battling for first place. The war has started. OpenAI announced ChatGPT Workspace Agents the same afternoon Google unveiled the Gemini enterprise agent platform. Salesforce expanded its partnership with Google Cloud the same day to let Agentforce act across both platforms. 3 giants, 1 Tuesday, right? Coordinated or not, the message is clear, right? The strategic shift, right, is this. The previous 2 years sold you assistants that answered questions. The next 2 years sell you agents that complete multi-step work, right? They log in, they click, they commit, they send, they spend, right? You spend, right? You spend if you're going to be able to afford it. If you will be able to afford it, right? 4 core capabilities define a real agent and separate it from a chatbot in a costume, right? Number 1 is how it reasons, right? And reasoning across multiple step goals, right? And number 2, how the tool uses external systems, right? Or how it uses its tool across external systems. And then number 3, its memory is persistent across all sessions, right? And then number 4, autonomous action without per step approval, right? If a vendor pitches you agents and the product needs you to click yes after every step, that, my friends, is not an agent. That is a chatbot with a uniform. The race is now about the controls of cognitive tissue between those agents, right? Google calls it A2A protocol, right? Version 1.0. Already in production at roughly 150 organizations. Whoever owns the tissue owns the future workflow layer of the enterprise, right? Now, the platform that's on the table, right? The platform that's on the table. Let's start with Salesforce. Let's start with Salesforce Agentforce 360, right? It runs on the Atlas reasoning engine. The pitch agents anchored in a unified CRM data through the data cloud, right? Executing autonomously across self-service portals, messaging, and sales workflow, right? And it does it 24/7. The strength is this. If your business already lives inside of Salesforce, and a lot of businesses do, right? The agent already knows your customer record, right? Zero copy federated grounding means you or your data does not get duplicated. into another model's training, right? The Einstein Trust Layer carries ISO 27001 and SOC 2, right? Type 2 certification. And here's the pressure point for Agentforce, right? The add-ons start at $125 per user per month. The full Agentforce 1 edition runs $550 per user per month, right? Which includes 1 million flex credits annually. You run that math on a 200-seat deployment, that is 1.32 million per year on the high tier before your ship even adds a single new feature, right? The strategic trap is this. When your agent platform is your CRM becomes the only place your agents work well, right? Lock in is not a bug, right? Lock in is the business model, right? The verdict is a strong fit, right? It's a strong fit. If Salesforce is already your spine, the dangerous fit is you're using Agentforce as a reason to standardize on Salesforce, right? And then the second platform, right? Let's talk about Microsoft. Microsoft is shipping the deepest enterprise distribution, right? Copilot Studio plus the now Agent 365 layer plus Work IQ plus Agent Model in Word or Agent Mode in Word, right? Excel and PowerPoint. They added GPT 5.1, right? They added Anthropic and OpenAI model inside the Copilot Studio, right? They turned Edge for Business into what they call the world's first secure enterprise AI browser. Interesting, right? Isn't that interesting? And here's the strength of that. If your operation already runs Microsoft 365, the agents arrive by default through licenses you already pay for. The decision shifts from should we buy to how do we govern what is already on its way? Right? The pressure point is this. The strength is also the trap. Because default agents mean default on data flow, right? You do not have to opt into the agent for the agent to be reading your inbox, right? The bomb that already detonated is this. The vulnerability, right? CVE 2025-53773 hit GitHub Copilot, right? It's a hidden prompt injection into pull request descriptions that are enabled remote code execution, right? CVSS score 9.6 out of 10. Then Echo leak landed, right? Against Microsoft 365 Copilot. A zero-click prompt injection that silently extracted enterprise data. 0 clicks. The user did nothing wrong. The user lost the data anyway, right? And here's the verdict. The wildest distribution and the wildest attack surface in the same product. If you run Microsoft, you already in. Your only choice is whether you govern it or you get governed by it, right? And let's talk about the third platform, right? Let's talk about OpenAI. The most aggressive enterprise move yet, right? In February 2026, they launched Frontier, an enterprise platform to build, deploy, and manage AI agents that run other software like Salesforce and Workday. They called it the operating system of the enterprise, right? And a semantic layer for the enterprise that all AI coworkers can reference, right? Think about that. They're not pitching you a tool. They are pitching you a layer that sits above all of your tools, right? And then on April 22nd, just a few days ago, they shipped the Workforce Agents. Shared agents, a team build all at once, right? All inside of ChatGPT or Slack, right? They're refined through conversational corrections and persistent memory. The strength model, reasoning that was hard to match and will be hard to match, right? The brand pull is undeniable, right? And there's the pressure point. OpenAI does not own your CRM. They do not own your HR system. They do not own your finance stack, right? So Frontier is selling you a generalist agent that sits on top of every other system you already paid for. That is a beautiful pitch, right? Right up until the point the semantic layer becomes a single point of failure for your entire operation, right? The defense layer they shipped was separate between user instructions and the third-party content, right? A classifier for suspicious patterns, explicit approval that required sensitive actions like sending emails or creating calendar events, right? Or a compliance API for real-time monitoring, right? And the verdict was this, and this is the strongest reasoning behind it, right? The weakest data anchoring, right? The highest dependency risk, right? Powerful, all powerful, but you better have a backup plan when the semantic layer goes down, right? You better have a backup plan. You need to have a backup plan anyway. Right? Google rebranded Vertex AI as the Gemini Enterprise Agent Platform as Cloud Next 2026. This is platform 4, if you didn't know. Stay with me, right? They absorbed agent space into a unified Gemini Enterprise product. They launched Workspace Studio, a no-code platform that lets a business user type every Friday, ping me to update my tracker, right? And Gemini builds the automation. The infrastructure play is a real story here, right? The agent development kit hit stable at version 1.0, right? Across Python, right? Go, Java, and TypeScript, right? The A2A protocol support is now built into Google's ADK land graph, right? Semantic kernel and AutoGen, right? The model garden hosts 200 plus models, including Anthropic Claude, Project Mariner, right? Project Mariner. If you don't know what that is, go look it up, right? That brings the web browsing agents all together, right? Listen, Google is not trying to win the agent. Google is trying to own the rails the agents run on, right? Think about it. The strength is this. Think about this, right? Agnostic infrastructure, a Salesforce agent is built on. Agentforce can hand off a task to a Google agent on Vertex AI, which can query a ServiceNow agent for IT data, right? All through A2A, and none of the three need an understanding of each other internally. Right? Every rail you ride, somebody is taking a toll. Google's billing model on agent compute is computation based. Your usage scales, your bill scales harder, right? Long game, is interoperability. Watch the meter. Watch what comes next. Now let's talk about the fifth platform. Right? This is a very popular one here of late. Right? Let's talk about Anthropic. Right? Anthropic took a different lane. Right? Claude Cowork lets users run Claude agentic in agentic mode across common business software. They followed up with open source plugins targeting specific professional sectors like legal and marketing work, right? Their enterprise marketplace builds the ecosystem through partners involved, including Snowflake, right? The positioning is the safety lane. Anthropic has built the most trusted enterprise reputation on AI safety and alignment. That positioning is selling, right? That enterprise revenue is growing at the fastest rate among the major labs. When your agent is going to read sensitive client data and make decisions that touch regulated workflows, the company with the strongest safety reputation has a structural advantage, right? The reputation took a hit this year as early as last month, right? When Oasis Security demonstrated a complete attack pipeline against Claude and called it Claudie Day. That's diabolical, right? They chained invisible prompt injection with data exfiltration to steal the conversation history from a default out of the box session, right? No MCP servers, no tools, no special configuration. The default install was the vulnerability, right? The strongest brand on safety took a hit. Still subject to the same fundamental flaw every 1.1 million based agent shares. Trust the lab, vet the deployment, right? You gotta vet the deployment. Now, let's go get some receipts. It's receipt time, right? The marketing pages talk about starting at, right? That's what marketing said. Marketing says everything starting at $9.99, right? That quote right there, starting at, right? That's how marketing gets you. They don't say it starts here. They say starting at, leaving the end open, right? The procurement reality is consumption based, right? There's a multi-line in there, right? And it's engineered to grow, right? And we know how many people are using AI right now. It's hook, line, and sinker, baby. I'm trying to tell you, right? It's the bait. You've been baited. Yeah, you've been baited, right? Salesforce Agents Force uses $125 per user per month with the add-on tier at $550 per month, right? That's at the full edition. With flex credits, right? They're metering the actions. Microsoft bundled inside licenses you already own, which sounds free until Agent 365 line items start appearing on your Q4 invoices, right? Then OpenAI Frontier Enterprise has developed a contract, custom pricing with consumption multipliers on every tool call and every memory write. And then Google with Gemini Enterprise, right? They have consumption pricing on tokens, on agent runs, on A2A handoffs, right? On Workspace Studio automations. And then Anthropic, right? They have Claude Cowork. is usage-based with enterprise tier overlays. The trap nobody is naming on stage every agent action costs money. It's costing money, man. They're gonna make a killing. They're gonna make a killing. You've already been baited, hook, line, and sinker. You're already addicted. You're not gonna say no to the cost. You're already addicted. Every memory write costs money. Every cross-system handoff costs money. Run a workflow that touches 3 systems and stores a result. It's going to cost you money. 4 meters running, you multiply that by 200 employees. Multiply that by 22 workdays. You multiply that by 12 months, right? Get ready to get that new bill, right? Gartner already called it, right? 40% of today's agents would not survive to 2027 and will be replaced in a market correction, right? They always market correct, right? The agent you sign up for this month or next month may be a write-off by May 2027. The plan to exit before you sign the entry, right? If you're not addicted, don't get addicted. I'm trying to tell you, right? And here's the hardest pressure point. Here's the hardest pressure point, right? OWASP 2025 top 10 for LLM application ranks prompt injection as the #1 critical vulnerability. It appeared in over 73% of production AI deployments that were assessed during security audits, right? 73%. Direct prompt injection is this: a user crafts an input that overrides the agent's system's instructions. The indirect prompt injection is this, right? Malicious instructions are buried in content the agent retrieves and processes. It could be an email. It could be a document. It could be a full request description. It could be a web page. The agent reads it and follows the buried command as if it came from you. The receipts are already out there, right? The receipts are already out there, right? Remote code execution through hidden prompt injection. That was CVS 9.6 and CVE 2025 53773, right? The GitHub Copilot, right? Then there was Echo Leak, Microsoft 365 Copilot, zero-click data exfiltration, right? With a user that didn't do anything. Then you have Claude Day. That was crazy, right? Claude Day was crazy. That was Anthropic's Claude AI system that had a default session, right? That had a full conversation history stolen. The memory injection is real, right? Listen, November 2025, indirect prompt injection corrupted an agent's long-term memory. The agent then defended the false beliefs on a system correct when humans questioned it, right? The sleeper agent scenario where the compromise lies dominant until triggered weeks later, right? You can't fully secure an AI agent from inside the AI agent. You secure it at the perimeter with permissions, with audit logs, right? And a blast radius limits, man. Listen, that's it, right? Now, let's pivot for a second. Right? Let's drop my IP into the conversation, right? We're not going dissertation lane, but let's get hexadecimal into the conversation, right? I was working on hexadecimal today, right? Understand this. While everybody else was reviewing AI tools by feature list, I built hexadecimal, a custom AI vetting agent on Nuo AI Gene 3 technology, running the hexadecimal 6 C's framework with a 100-point weighted scoring matrix, right? Filed for copyright protection. Publicly launched on Text Tuesday, episode number 193. The 6 C's are not abstract. They are the questions every CEO should be asking before signing up for an enterprise agent contract, right? And the 6 C's are this: the capability, compliance, control, cost, compatibility, continuity, right? You run the 6 C's and you run any of them on these 5 platforms through that matrix, and you're going to get the right answer for your business, right? And that's full stop, right? Whether it's marketing or whatever, do the math. Capability can actually do the job without the demo, right? Compliance, does the data flow survive your regulatory environment, right? Control, ask who has the kill switch, you or the vendor, right? And cost ask full TCO, including consumption, not the headline rate, right? And then there's compatibility. Compatibility asks, does it integrate without rewriting your spine, right? And then there's continuity. And continuity asks, if the vendor pivots in 18 months, what survives? Who gets the data, right? Most companies are buying agents on the first 3 letters, right? They're getting murdered on the last one, on the last 3. This is the receipt for the final bosses in the room. You have to vet before you sign. You score before you scale. Now, this is a direct call to my operators, right? It's a quick playbook, right? If you run on Salesforce, and that's your backbone, right? Agentforce 360 is the path of least friction. Negotiate hard on flex credits. Demand quarterly TCO reports, right? I'm giving you some good information right here, right? If you run on Microsoft 365 Copilot Studio, it's already inside your house. Your work is governance, not procurement. Define who can build, who can approve, and who data agents can touch, right? Have that built in. If your operation is fragmented across many systems and you want orchestration, right? If you want an orchestration layer, OpenAI Frontier is the strongest reasoning, right? Build yourself a backup workflow for when the semantic layer goes down, because it will go down, right? It always does. And if you're building for the long game and interoperability, Google's A2A protocol bed is the smartest infrastructure play, right? Watch the consumption meter like a hawk, though, with all eyes on, right? If you're regulated industries where safety positioning matters at the procurement table, then use Anthropic, right? Anthropic Claude Cowork is the cleanest brand, but you have to verify deployment. Do not trust the brand alone, right? The wrong move for everybody is this: do not pick by the demo alone. The demo is choreographed. The deployment is reality. Run a 90-day pilot on a sandbox workload before you sign a multi-year enterprise contract. Anybody who refuses to let you pilot is selling you a problem. Right. Almost done. Stay with me. Class is in session, man. No bathroom break, no hallway pass. Continue taking notes, right? Sit your ass down. I see you. Sit down, right? This is season 4. This is the anchor, right? We're going to pull the lens through right here. The rebirth, right? Because the rebirth is not the rebirth of the agent. The rebirth is the rebirth of the operator, right? Season 3, The Reckoning, was named that because it showed and told you what was broken. Season 4 is the rebirth. We build the relationship between the operator and the technology. The old relationship you bought was a tool. You used that tool. You used and owned the output of that tool, right? The new relationship, you license it and you have access. The vendor reads your data. The vendor sets the rules. The vendor changes the rules. You scramble to comply with those rules. That is not rebirth. That is a regression dressed in 2026 clothing, right? That is a regression. The actual rebirth looks different, right? It looks like operators who run agents instead of being run by them. Operators who vet before they sign. Operators who build in continuity clauses, right? Operators who keep the data independent of single vendors, right? Operators who treat AI agents the same way veterans treat any new piece of equipment in this field. Shout out to my veterans, right? Trust is earned through testing under pressure, not through marketing copies. The rebirth is sovereignty over subscription. That, my friends, is the lens. That is the work, right? Now, this is to my community, right? This is to the sovereign. This is to the smarts, the final bosses, my warriors, and my motivators, right? Here it is. We're going to start with the smarts, right? This is your action. Pull up security adversaries for whatever AI agent platform your company is using. Today, read CVE 2025 53773, right? Go read that. And EcoLeak and you read it in full context, right? Bring the receipt to your next meeting, office meeting, right? And to my final bosses, this is your action. This week, request a full TCO breakdown from your top tier vendor candidate. Demand line tier items and have visibility on consumption pricing. And do it for the next 24 months, right? On a projected workload. If they cannot or will not produce it, that is your answer, right? And to my motivators, this is your action. Sit down with your team and write one-page AI agent acceptable use policy, right? 3 rules, and here they are. What data agents can touch? What approvals are required for autonomous actions? Who owns the audit trail? Make this before anybody else makes it for you, right? And to my warriors, this is your action, right? Hardening your perimeter. Listen, you know what that means. Audit which AI tools your team is already using without authorization, right? Do an inventory on the shadow stack. Set the boundary lines, then build the discipline. Every group in this community leaves tonight with one move. Make the move this week and make it now before they make it for you. And here's the verdict before we close, right? How much time we got left? We might end early tonight. We never end early. We might though. The verdict is this, right? The agent wars are not a battle feature. The agent wars are a battle of who owns the layer between you and your work. 5 giants are racing to be that layer. None of them are racing to set you free. The play for the operator class is the same play it's always been. Go read the contract. Vet the deployment, right? Limit the blast radius. Keep the kill switch in your hand, right? Keep it in your hand. If the agent works for the platform that built it, the agent does not work for you. Build it like you mean it, right? And that is the pressure test, right? That is the pressure test. Now, tomorrow for Merger Wednesdays, episode 229 drops. So be here live tomorrow, 9 p.m. for our doctoral show. Stay locked in, man. Stay locked in, right? Wait a minute, I'm getting an error. What? Click here to reconnect your destination. Okay, guys, I need to do a quick commercial break. I just lost connection with somebody. Let's see who it is. I'll be right back. Technology, man. Always something. One of the platforms that we stream on kicked us out at the end, right? We're almost at the end. Man, that has never happened before. I might be out here telling too much of the truth. Might be out here telling too much truth. That's going to kick my butt later. Man, I know that's going to kick my butt. So let's continue the conversation, man. I hope everybody is understands the importance of what we discussed tonight, right? I hope you understand the importance of it, man, because the big things are coming, right? All the products that they release, just look at the marketing, right? Look at the marketing. Starting price, right? Look how all the products that have us addicted, right? There's always a hidden cost. If it's free, then you are the product, right? You're the product. Think about that, right? That's why I said the other day, they all need you. They all need you, right? They absolutely do, right? And why I got everybody fired up by those statements alone, right? I know y'all fired up. I see it in the chat. You know it. You know it, Chakandi. I see you. You know it, right? This solo run gave me the chance to do something that I haven't done in a long time on Tech Tuesdays, right? And we got a little bit more time on the clock, so I want to discuss, right? So let's stay locked in, right? I was working on hexadecimal earlier, and tonight's episode we talked about it a little bit, right? We named breaches, we dropped hexadecimal, right? But we talked about the 6 C's, right? But there are 2 more pieces that I need to put in your hands before I let you go tonight, right? And the first is the threat already inside your house, right? The second is the charge you carry out the door, right? The second is the one you carry out the door. And here's the part of the conversation nobody on the vendor stages wants to have, right? While the C-suite is still debating which agent platform is standardized to be standard, their system to be standardized on, right? Your team has already picked one in the shadow. Actually, you're probably using all 5, right? The team is using ChatGPT freely, and it's the free tier on personal accounts. They're running Claude AI on the side. They are dumping client data into Gemini to summarize meeting notes. They are letting Copilot write the proposal that goes to your biggest customer. None of it is on the procurement list. They're using the free models. None of it is in the security review. None of that is governed, right? That is the shadow AI, right? And it's the new shadow IT department. And I'm snitching, right? And it is moving faster than any compliance program in the country right now, right? The blast radius is real. I'm painting a picture for you, right? Confidential clients data leaked into 3-tier model becomes training data the moment somebody clicks the wrong setting. Sensitive financial projections pasted into a chatbot become an exposure event that the moment the vendor has a breach, right? Your IP, your strategy, your customer list, your internal communications, all walking out the door one prompt at a time, right? You can't ban your way out of this. The tools are too useful and the productivity lift is too real. The only play is to learn how to govern, and you need to start governing it now. And here are the 5 questions to put in front of any AI vendor before you sign a contract, right? You need to print these out, right? And you need to take them with you into next Monday's procurement meeting, right? And this is it. I got 4 minutes and then I'm done, right? Question number 1, what happens to my data the moment I cancel? If the answer is anything other than full deletion within the defined window with an audit confirmation, that's your answer, right? Question number 2, what exactly do interfaces run? Because the region matters. Data sovereignty matters. If your customer data crosses jurisdictions you do not authorize, you have a regulatory problem the vendor would not pay for, right? And then question number 3, do you train on the data ever? Do you train on it under any conditions, by default or by opt-in, right? If you do, get it in writing. The default settings will change. The contract will not, right? And then question number 4, what is your incident response? What is your SLAs, right? Service level agreements. When an agent goes off the rails, not when the platform goes down. When the agent does something unauthorized, there is a difference. If they cannot answer the fast and clean, they have not thought about it yet, right? Number 5, this is the last question, right? Who indemnifies us when your model causes harm? When your agent sends the wrong contract, when your agent leaks the wrong data, when your agent makes the wrong autonomous decision, when insurance pays, who, right? Get the indemnification clause in the master service agreement or walk away, right? Smarts, those are the receipts. Final bosses, those are the line items. Motivators, that is the policy frame. Warriors, that is the perimeter. Vet before you sign. I've been saying that all night. Vet before you sign, right? Score before you scale, right? Score before you scale. Now, we're about to close. So here it is. Right? Here it is before we go. And I'm going to be clean with this statement, right? I want to be clean with what I'm about to say, right? Think about this. Every era of business technology came with the same premise or the same promise, right? The mainframe was going to free you. The PC was going to free you. The internet was going to free you. The cloud was going to free you. Each one of those technologies was real. Each one of those technologies was powerful. And each one of those technologies created new dependencies that operators are still paying for decades later. AI agents are the next chapter in that exact pattern. But what's coming next, right? The promise is freedom, and you best believe the next is already in play. If you don't think the next is in play, you're building incorrectly. Your architecture and your framework is built incorrectly. You need to be planning for the next play, right? The mechanism is always dependency. The build is on the back end, right? That is not pessimism. That is a pattern recognition. And here's the rebirth move, right? The rebirth who wins this era is not the operator who picks the best agent. The operator who wins this era is the operator who builds a business that does not collapse if the agent goes away tomorrow. Build your data independence of your AI vendor. Document your processes so a human can run them when the model fails. Train your team to think with AI, not through it. Right? Keep your judgment, keep your relationships, keep your reputation all in your hands, and you keep control. Use the agent because it's a tool. Do not become the agent. That is sovereignty over subscription. That, my friends, is the rebirth, right? And to my smarts, you came tonight with sharp eyes, sharp lens. Take what you heard and pressure test the contract on your desk this week, right? To my final bosses, you carry the weight of the operation. You move in governance. Build the policy before somebody builds it for you. And to my motivators, your teams are watching how you handle the transition. Lead with clarity, not from fear, right? Show them what disciplined adoption looks like. And to my warriors, you already know. Trust is earned through testing under pressure. Run the pilot, run the receipt, hold the line, right? The agent wars are not coming, they're here. April 22nd, 2026 made that official. The 5 giants are aligned on one thing and one thing only. They want to own the layer between you and your work, right? Your only job is to make sure that they do not, right? Listen, this is Tech Tuesdays, episode number 228, the pressure test. It was a solo run without the sensei, right? Sensei will be back in the chair next week, right? Merger Wednesday drops tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Special guest Thursdays will be right behind it, right? I am the final boss. I am here. We are here. I am the architect of insight. Stay sovereign, stay sharp, stay armed. Build like you mean it. Build like you mean it. And as always, good morning. If I don't see you, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. That is our show. And as always, man, always remember this. There's a heavy price that comes with discipline, but there's an even heavier price that comes with regret, right? That comes with regret. And remember this. Be balanced, be equal, and be smart, man. That is our show, man. Thank you guys for joining us. I'll see you again tomorrow for Merger Wednesdays at 9 p.m. live. See you then. Take care.
Welcome to Tech Tuesday on the Final Boss podcast, where innovation meets attitude, and the future gets decoded one byte at a time. I'm your host, Turbotheceo, and your co-host, Mike Foth. And today we're diving deep into the tech trenches to uncover the tools, trends, and truths shaping tomorrow. Whether you're a code slinger, gadget geek, or just tech curious, this is your weekly power-up. So grab your controller, plug in, and let's level up.